Welcome to this third video under the theme Seeing Things We Can't See with Sound We Can't Hear. I'm Brian Hoyle, Professor of Electronic Sensing and Instrumentation at Leeds. If you didn't listen to the first and second talks, it may be useful to view them first. In this video, we're going to explore a whole new possibility, which I have to confess I was pretty amazed at. This is giving blind people the ability to ride a solo bike. When Richard Hammond asked us if we could fit an ultracane to a car for a blind driver, we felt this wouldn't have been a very dignified way. There'd probably been so much safety and drivers actually hidden under the seat and things. But we did agree to a bike, and the idea of a bike was that the blind bike cyclist could decide when to stop and start, etc. My vision for this was a nice three-wheeler bike on a soft field with soft low plastic obstacles, but that's not quite what we got.
I want you to watch the next 30 seconds very carefully. In just a few minutes, a second rider is going to come down this track, through the same twists and turns, over the same humps and bumps, but with one big difference. This rider is blind. So how is that possible, when practically all he sees around him is black?
Well, we found that Richard and the program producer had found a young guy who was able, we thought, to ride a bike that didn't have any extra wheels he could balance. He's recently gone blind, and so here is a picture of the UltraBike, and you might be able to recognize at the front of the UltraBike there are two little familiar objects, and these are the two ultracane transceivers that we normally have. Instead of being one looking up for safety and the other one looking ahead, here we've got them looking actually both forward, because we're going to assume that the track we're going to use is perfectly safe from overhead obstacles. And they're looking forward with an included angle, so what you really see are obstacles at the side of the track. And we can see in this picture someone's thumb on one of the handlebars, so you can actually feel which side of the transducer is giving you some information, just like on the ultracane. So this is the UltraBike. Well, here are the UltraBike's transducers. They're the same transducers, but they're tuned, as it were, for a much longer range. We're looking 8 meters ahead, that's 26 feet. And we can see, we're seeing here from above, the cyclist's tyres and wheels are shown black there, and the guy's got a yellow hat on, and we can see the light blue handlebars. And we can see the walls of this track. Well, here we can see what's happening. We can now see that because the left red beam is now in contact with the wall or the fence, whatever, on this track, that we're now getting a signal on the red beam tactor, so the rider is feeling this on the left hand side on the handlebar tactor, and the idea is he or she is now going to steer away to the right to get back on the center line. So that's the principle of the UltraBike. It's very, very simple. It gives the brain information up to 26 feet away here, so this guy on the picture there is seeing information about 20 feet ahead as he or she rides along. Well, we're next going to see what's happened on the track. We're going to see our blind rider now ride this mountain bike track.
But now it's actually come to it, I'm not sure who's more nervous, me or 21-year-old Dan Smith, who actually has to ride this thing. A keen cyclist, Dan tragically lost his sight 9 months ago from a rare genetic condition. He hasn't been able to ride a bike on his own since. Although most of the damage to his eyes is invisible, trust me, Dan can't see anything in front of him.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Dan only had a few short hours to practice on this bike. But bat technology is allowing his brain to see the course. Well, there can be no clearer proof that bat tech works.
Yeah, very good actually. So very good to be back on a single bike again, but the technology works because I've just navigated the whole track by myself, so I'm very pleased, yeah.
Now, obviously, it might be a little while before visually impaired cyclists take to our roads, but bat technology may just have opened up their lives like never before.
Well, after the broadcast, we thought that this was going to be the last time we'd use the UltraBike, but in fact we had lots of interest from people who wanted to try it out. So we designed a more robust version that we could perhaps supply to colleges for visually impaired people, so that it could be used on a protected track where it was safe to have a go. And a couple of years later, we had an inquiry from an organisation called Life Cycle UK who wanted to try out the UltraBike, and in fact we held the world's first UltraBike event at the Bristol Millennium Amphitheatre on the side of the floating harbour in Bristol. Life Cycle UK are a Bristol cycling operation, and they have a volunteer blind tandem back riders program, so we were allowing back riders to become front riders. Well, here we can see one rider in the top left hand image. We can see a rider there. We can see that the boundaries of the track are simple crowd fencing, and the ultrasonic beams will easily find the crowd fencing little bars and create reflections. At the bottom right we see 5 successful track riders there having tried out the UltraBike. Well, we were quite surprised to have an invitation from the London Science Museum to provide kits and some pictures for an exhibition for 6 months on interesting new innovations and inventions. So here's a picture of the exhibit. We've also got an ultracane and I think an UltraBike kit, a little kit with the things for the handlebars, in the Leeds Museum and also in the Leeds Industry Museum, so you can see them in Leeds as well. Well, we hope you've enjoyed listening about the ultracane and the UltraBike, and we hope to see you at the Be Curious event, where you can try some of these things out for yourselves. You can try out an ultracane. We're hoping to have a little maze course for that.